What happens when the most valuable player in your entire league starts to break down, physically, emotionally, and mentally, before our very eyes? You get what we're witnessing right now with Caitlin Clark. The golden girl of women's basketball, the rookie who injected life into an entire sport, is not just struggling, she's slipping. And if the WNBA doesn't act fast, it won't just be Caitlin Clark they lose. It'll be everything she brought with her. Ratings, relevance, and a fan base that was finally starting to care. This isn't just a slump. This isn't just rookie growing pains. This is a full-blown crisis, one that's being ignored, minimized, and mishandled at every level. If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe. And fans, they're not just worried. They're panicking. Because for the first time, Caitlin Clark doesn't look untouchable. She looks exhausted. She looks frustrated. And maybe most dangerously, she looks like she's checked out. The decline you can't ignore. Let's be real. Caitlin Clark came into the WNBA with more hype than any player in decades. And for good reason. She was dominant at Iowa. She's charismatic, clutch, and fearless. She is the reason millions of new fans suddenly tuned into women's basketball. But look at her now. You can see it in her body language. The missed shots, the lack of pace, the way she walks off the court with her head down. This isn't just about stats. It's about spirit. Clark isn't playing like herself because she's not being allowed to. She's being boxed into a system that doesn't fit her. She's being knocked around on the court without any real protection. And she's surrounded by dysfunction that's weighing her down. Her game is slowing. Her joy is fading. And her confidence? It's being chipped away every night. The coaching problem no one wants to fix. At the center of the storm is Indiana Fever head coach Christy Sides, a coach who, frankly, looks overwhelmed. This team has no tempo, no rhythm, no identity, and worst of all, no clue how to use their most talented player. Clark thrives in transition. She's a fast break magician. But Sides is running a slow, half-court offense that feels like it was pulled out of a 1995 playbook. Every possession is clogged. Every play is reactive instead of proactive. And every game is a reminder that this coaching staff is simply not ready for the spotlight Clark brings. There's no urgency, no adjustments, no structure that plays to Clark's strengths. And it's not just hurting her, it's suffocating her. Physical play is crossing the line. Let's talk about the hits, because they're getting out of control. Caitlin Clark is taking brutal contact on a nightly basis. We're not talking about strong defense. We're talking about borderline assault, elbows to the ribs, forearm shivers, body checks that would get flagged in the NFL. And the refs? They're letting it happen. Game after game, she gets hacked, shoved, and smacked, and it's like the whistle's gone missing. What message does that send? That the league's biggest star is fair game? That she has to earn the right to be protected? If LeBron James or Steph Curry took even half this kind of punishment without a whistle, there would be a league-wide meltdown. But Clark? She's expected to just tough it out, to not complain, to play through it. That's not toughness. That's neglect. The emotional drain is real. The physical toll is one thing, but the emotional weight might be even heavier. Clark came into the WNBA with the energy of someone who believed in the dream. You could see it in her interviews, in her celebrations, in the way she made her teammates better. She believed she could help elevate the game. But now, that spark is dimming. She's quieter, more guarded, visibly frustrated. And who can blame her? She's being targeted by other players, ignored by refs, and misused by her coach. And worst of all, the league isn't stepping in. Every game looks like a grind. Every press conference sounds like damage control. And every fan watching is asking the same question. How long can she take this? The system is failing her. This is bigger than Clark. This is about what kind of league the WNBA wants to be. Do they want to be a league that nurtures talent, that protects stars, that builds a system where players can thrive? Or do they want to be a league that tears down its best in the name of earning your place? Because right now, Clark is being left to rot in a broken system. And if something doesn't change soon, she's not going to stick around. That's not a threat. That's reality. She has options. Overseas leagues, coaching, media. You don't think ESPN would throw a blank check her way for a commentary contract? Or that she couldn't go make millions in Europe, where stars are respected and teams actually build around them? She doesn't need the WNBA, but the WNBA needs her. Badly. Fans are reaching their limit. It's not just Clark who's fed up. The fans are losing it. Every game, the comment sections are flooded with outrage. Why is she being treated like this? Why isn't anyone helping her? Why does it seem like the league is punishing her for being popular? These aren't fringe trolls. These are loyal fans. The ones who bought tickets, jerseys, and league pass subscriptions because of Clark. And now, they're starting to check out. Because if the league can't protect the player they came to see, what's the point? This isn't just poor management, it's a betrayal. And the damage it's doing to fan trust is real. The locker room vibes are off. Let's address the elephant in the room. Clark doesn't seem fully embraced by her team. Yes, the Fever is young and developing, but chemistry matters. And from the outside looking in, Clark feels isolated. There are no moments of visible bonding. No signs that the team is rallying around her. Just awkward energy, confused rotations, and teammates who seem more annoyed than inspired. You can't fake chemistry. And whatever's going on in that locker room, it's not helping. Clark needs leadership, guidance, unity. And right now, she's getting none of it. The mental health red flags. No one wants to say out loud, but it needs to be said. Caitlin Clark looks mentally checked out. She's not just tired. She's drained. This is what happens when you carry the weight of a franchise, a league, and a narrative without any support. It wears you down. It makes you question why you're doing it. It steals your joy. And if the WNBA doesn't start prioritizing mental wellness the way they claim to, they're going to lose players like Clark to burn out before they ever hit their prime. What needs to change right now? If there's going to be a turnaround, it needs to start immediately. Coaching reset. The Fever either need to radically change their offensive philosophy or make a coaching change. Clark needs freedom, movement, and structure that plays to her strengths. League enforcement. Officials need to be put on notice. Protect the players, especially the ones taking the most contact. Internal leadership. Teammates and staff need to rally behind Clark. This isn't just her team, it's the WNBA's team. Treat her like it. Mental health resources. Create space for players like Clark to process the pressure they're under. Support them. Talk to them. Don't let them drown in silence. Public support. The WNBA must be vocal in backing Clark. Silence equals complicity. Make it clear. The league values her and won't tolerate her being targeted, on or off the court. When Caitlin Clark declared for the WNBA, the buzz was electric. It wasn't just about a promising rookie. It was about a player who had reshaped college basketball, filled arenas, and brought women's sports into a new era of mainstream popularity. Her transition to the pros was supposed to be a celebration, a coronation. Instead, it's turning into a cautionary tale. Let's be crystal clear. This was never about Clark needing to dominate every night. No rational fan expected her to average 30 points out of the gate. What they expected, what she deserved, was a system that supported her, protected her, and helped her grow into the player she has the potential to be. But what she got? A franchise in disarray. A coaching staff with no apparent plan. And a league that seems indifferent to whether she thrives or burns out. This isn't just bad management. It's sabotage by negligence. From savior to scapegoat, there's a pattern forming, and it's not hard to spot. The more the WNBA benefits from Caitlin Clark's presence, the less it seems willing to defend her when things get ugly. The league jumped at the ratings spike. They cashed in on the merchandise. They promoted her name in every ad campaign. But when she got hacked to the floor with no whistle, nothing. When she was the subject of hostile, targeted commentary from veteran players, nothing. When the public started noticing that she's being fouled harder than anyone else on the court, still nothing. Instead, the narrative began to shift. Suddenly, she wasn't the league's bright young hope. She was divisive, entitled Overexposed. How convenient. The league milked her popularity and then left her to be eaten alive. And now, when the results aren't perfect, when her team is floundering, when the offense isn't built around her, she becomes a scapegoat. It's not just unfair. It's borderline abusive. An identity crisis at every level. Here's what makes Clark's situation especially maddening. It's not just one issue. It's every issue at once. Coaching, officiating, locker room dynamics, media treatment. They're all falling short. The Indiana Fever as an organization has no identity. Are they rebuilding? Are they trying to win now? Are they trying to develop Clark? Or use her as bait to draw attention while they figure out what they're doing? They don't seem to know. Their rotations are erratic. Players are being subbed in and out with no rhythm. The play calling is baffling. Clark is forced to give up the ball early in possessions, only to stand in the corner like a decoy. That's not coaching. That's malpractice. And what about the WNBA? It brands itself as progressive, inclusive, and player-first. But when push comes to shove, literally, it hasn't lifted a finger to protect its most valuable asset. So who's leading? Who's stepping up? Who's saying, we can't afford to lose this player mentally, physically, or emotionally? Right now, the answer is no one. Other rookies don't get this treatment. Let's compare for a second. Most top rookie picks in any professional sport are treated like investments. They're given minutes, a tailored system, a developmental path. The franchise builds around them. Think about how the NBA handled players like Luka Doncic, Zion Williamson, or even Victor Wembanyama. They got infrastructure, patience, coaching built around their unique talents. Clark? She was handed a broken car and told to win the race. And when she doesn't, the knives come out. The discrepancy is staggering. The Fever haven't built around Clark. They've thrown her into chaos. And the league has watched it happen like they're rooting for failure just to prove a point. A media machine that can't make up its mind. Let's talk about the press. The same media that plastered Clark's face everywhere is now walking a weird tightrope. One day, she's a savior. The next, she's divisive. The coverage has become a messy blend of praise, passive aggression, and carefully worded criticism. And it all feeds into the toxic cycle Clark is stuck in. No one seems willing to say the obvious. She's not failing. The system around her is. But saying that out loud would require confronting some uncomfortable truths, like the fact that the league's power brokers didn't want Clark to become the face of the WNBA, that her popularity threatens the carefully curated narrative that's been built around other players for years. So instead of supporting her, they undermine her. Instead of embracing her, they isolate her. And the media, they play along, trying to appear balanced while quietly turning up the heat. The emotional breakdown is inevitable. People forget that athletes, no matter how gifted, are still human beings. And Clark is showing all the signs of someone who's carrying too much with too little support. The joy she brought to Iowa is gone. The swagger, the smiles, the electric celebrations after deep threes. Now, she looks like someone going through the motions, trying to survive the game instead of own it. And it's not about stats. It's about presence. Clark looks alone. And not just on the court, off it, too. You can't ask a 22-year-old rookie to carry a broken franchise, a league's marketing hostile teammates, and a fan base full of expectations, without help. It's a recipe for burnout. And if something doesn't change, it won't just be her performance that suffers. It'll be her career. Fans can see the train wreck coming. What makes all of this so infuriating is that fans can see it. They're not dumb. They're watching the games. They're listening to the pressers. They're reading between the lines. And they're furious because they know what Clark could be. They saw it at Iowa. They saw it during the preseason. They've seen flashes of brilliance even through all the dysfunction. And now they're watching it get chipped away by bad coaching, petty fouls, and a system that seems allergic to her success. Fans are loyal, but only for so long. If they feel like the league doesn't care about the player they came to support, they'll walk. They'll change the channel. Stop buying tickets. Unsubscribe. Clark is the draw. And if she burns out, the WNBA doesn't just lose a player. It loses the momentum it's waited years to build. There's still time, but not much. Here's the part that hurts the most. This can be fixed, but the window is closing fast. The Fever need to clean house, reassess the coaching, rebuild the offensive identity, create a structure that lets Clark do what she does best. The WNBA needs to step up, start calling games fairly, protect all players, especially the ones taking the most hits. The media needs to pick a lane. Either support her growth or get out of the way. And fans, keep the pressure on. Keep demanding better, because Clark deserves it. And frankly, so do all of us. A warning for the whole league. Caitlin Clark was supposed to be the league's future. She still can be, but only if the league wakes up and realizes what's at stake. This isn't about one rookie. It's about how the WNBA treats excellence, about whether it's ready to grow or more comfortable tearing down what it doesn't control. Because if Clark walks away, figuratively or literally, it won't just be her absence the league will feel. It'll be the loss of an era. The bottom line, Caitlin Clark came to the WNBA full of hope, ambition, and promise. And what she got in return was dysfunction, disrespect, and disillusionment. She deserves more. She deserves a team that understands her value, a coach who builds around her, a league that protects her, and a fan base that knows her worth. And if she doesn't get that soon, she might not stick around long enough to see the league grow. So to the WNBA, Indiana Fever, and everyone watching, this is your moment. Fix it or lose everything. We'll be here, watching, waiting, and telling the truth. Every time, we have to address the elephant in the room. When a player as talented, charismatic, and marketable as Caitlin Clark appears ready to walk away in frustration, you've made a crisis. This isn't the natural attrition curve of a rookie learning the ropes. It's a tipping point caused by mismanagement, apathy, and willful neglect. Fans didn't just fall in love with a player. They fell in love with a vision where elite skills could thrive, not be suffocated by poor coaching or unchecked aggression. But now, the vision is under siege, and fans are starting their exit. Ratings will resize, ticket sales will soften, and that new viewer they brought in, they'll remember this as the moment everything went wrong. Turning off the star isn't just short-sighted, it's existential. The cost of organizational indifference. Let's dive deeper. This isn't one bad season or an unlucky injury. This is a result of long-standing indifference at an organizational level that was allowed to build for years. Think about it. Scouting. Why hasn't the Fever prioritized complementary pieces around Clark? The roster is scattered, lacking players who fit her style or relieve her burden. Front office. Are there voices within management asking hard questions? Or has Clark been swallowed up by PR interests while nobody challenges a flawed direction? League direction. How is the WNBA not drafting standardized protocols to protect emergent stars from this exact scenario? This isn't just coaching malpractice. It's institutional failure. The charade of player empowerment in name only. Women's sports have long championed a narrative of player empowerment. Yet here we have actionable irony. The most empowered move Clark could make, walking away, feels like the only one she has left. Yes, players these days have leverage. Social media, branding, power. But all the empowerment in the world means nothing without structural support. Where are the safeguards when power doesn't protect players on the court or in the locker room? Without structural integrity, on the team and league level, empowerment becomes an empty buzzword, a mirage. And Clark's situation is a glaring testament to that gap, the talent exodus threat. Consider this a warning. Talent watches talent. Young players see what happens to Clark, and they question if the WNBA is worth it. Will they go through rookie hardship? Sure. Should they expect to be intentionally targeted and physically compromised? Absolutely not. If Clark's journey continues this way, a wave of talent will choose safer, more stable professional environments overseas. We're seeing that already. European leagues paying bubbles, managing player health, championing star growth. Clark could move, borrowing from tennis and soccer playbooks, to a league that builds around its players, not against them. The WNBA's bubble could burst. Comparing the infrastructure, learning from the NBA and EuroLeague. Look west. The NBA invests in rookies. They're introduced into systems that mentor them, not bury them. Media responsibility, coaching imprimatur, standardized protection. It's all baked into the infrastructure. Light a lamp to Europe. Players like Clark will be measured through both performance and well-being. Strength and conditioning coaches, sports psychologists, and legal representation. Systems do exist, not just as lip service, but as working frameworks. The WNBA has the talent. It lacks the backbone. If it wants to compete, not just for viewers but for trust, it has to fast-track that infrastructure. The moment of reckoning. This isn't a passing storm. It's a full weather pattern. What Caitlin Clark is going through could define not just a season, but the next decade of this league. Why? Because she is the moment the WNBA fought for. The gross stats, the media attention, the sponsors, they all exist because she came. Now, they can vanish if she leaves. Fix. The system. This is a tipping point. Caitlin Clark's decline isn't just a sad story, it's a warning shot. If the WNBA continues to treat its brightest star like she's expendable, they will lose her. And when they lose her, they lose the future they were just starting to build. Clark deserves better. The fans deserve better. And the game deserves better. So, WNBA, the clock's ticking. Protect your star. Fix your system. Or watch everything she brought you slip away. And if you're watching this unfold in real time, if you're as furious, frustrated, or even worried as we are, hit subscribe, because this story isn't over. Not even close. And we're not backing down until something changes.